Welcome to Table Read Tuesday. Today we are reading Mass. It's a very heavy movie, so be prepared for that. But it is also, from what I've heard from the people I know that have seen it, phenomenal, remarkable, deserves all the awards. So we're excited to read it for those reasons. And always great to have something you can sink your teeth into. But another thing I want to mention with the writer's strike that's going on and now actor strike, like basically while this is being recorded, is this is a small cast, small location film, and it is so good. So if at this time you're a writer or an actor, like it just shows that if you can get some really good writing and some really good actors, then you can make something with a self-funded micro budget. So hopefully, this emotionally touches you, but also hopefully it can inspire you to create your own amazing pieces of art that can move people. With that, I'm going to introduce the cast that is here to do some of the moving today. We have Angel Peterson.
Hi, I'm Angel Peterson, and I'll be reading for Linda today.
Thank you. And then Morgan Toll.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and I'll be reading Gail. I'm very excited to read this petition to bring back the Oscars and give them all to the actors that were in this movie.
Yes. And Vicki Dykes.
Hello, I'm Vicki Dykes. I'm from Central Alberta, and today I am reading Jay.
Right. And we haven't been mentioning where people can find us if they need to. But next we have Peter Leach.
I am Peter. I am reading for the part of Richard today.
All right. And I forgot to mention I'm playing for Anthony. And we have Heather Lee Cameron.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron, and today I'll be doing the action descriptions. And I'll also be reading Judy and Kendra.
All right. Anything else anybody would like to say without giving away too much before we start?
It's a very solemn and sad movie that I saw at Calgary International Film Festival, I believe in 2021. And it's a very solemn movie, and I hope we give respect to the subject matter and to the actors that performed it.
I would say everything that's happening in America right now, the script is extremely important to read, and just touches on a very heavy but important topic that needs to be talked about more.
Thank you. All right, with that, then we will share.
And with that, we can literally do the introductions of our pages later, given this is a.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that later. Thank you.
Anyway, do I go now? Okay.
Yes, Heather, when you're ready, feel free to take us away. Thank you.
Mass, written and directed by Kranz. Exterior suburban neighborhood dawn. It's dawn somewhere in America. The first hint of sunrise glows on the horizon, barely illuminating the otherwise dark suburban street. Red taillights appear as a garage door opens a few houses down the road. An SUV pulls out onto the street. Exterior shopping district dawn. The roads are still empty as the sky turns a lighter shade of violet. The SUV passes local malls and businesses, making its way to the interstate. Exterior interstate, downtown sunrise. Office lights flicker in the distance as the SUV makes its way out of the city. Sunlight breaks over the horizon, reflecting off buildings, glass facades. Exterior interstate country morning. Later, the sun casts an even heat over farmlands. The SUV speeds through the country on a journey that seems to take several hours. Eventually, the flat farmlands give way to foothills. Miles ahead, the hills compound themselves into massive mountains. The SUV disappears into the rising landscape, cut to black. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, morning. The modest red brick Gothic revival church sits on the corner of a small town street. Behind it, built much later, are the church offices and meeting halls. A piano plays inside the church. It's a familiar melody, just unsure of itself. Hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. An old beat-up Subaru parks out front. Judy, 30s, nervous but well-meaning, exits her car, grabs groceries from the back seat, and hurries towards the church. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, nave, morning. A young student struggles to read sheet music as his piano teacher guides him through the notes. They play at an upright piano at the foot of the altar. Judy enters at the other end of the nave. She waves to the teacher as she takes a seat in the back pew, dropping her groceries down beside her. After praying, she makes a quick sign of the cross. Collecting her things, she waves goodbye to the teacher and makes her way down a set of stairs and into interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church basement, morning. The church basement. It's a large but cluttered space. The walls are covered with community flyers and religious plaques. In an open kitchen, Anthony, a peculiar young man in his late teens, does dishes. Oh, I'm late. I know. Judy drops her things on a table as she rushes across the room and up a small flight of stairs into Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church offices, morning. The church offices. She checks the phone for messages and turns on a desktop computer. Has anyone called?
Jacob?
No,
Kendra?
no one.
Okay, good. Judy crosses back to the basement. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church basement, morning. Stopping on the stairs, Judy takes a deep breath. My son had a game this morning, but he wanted me to wait till his dad got there. Then I got stuck in traffic on the way back. Or some accident.
You got in an accident?
No, I got stuck in the traffic of an accident. What are you doing?
Dishes.
Okay, will you help me set up?
What do we need to set up?
The room for the meeting. Why are you doing dishes?
No one cleaned up from this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got to tell them to clean up after themselves.
We did. Was this AA?
No, Al and AA clean up after themselves.
Just leave it for now, okay? I want it all set up when Kendra gets here. He stops and dries his hands. He leaves the kitchen and makes his way across the basement, brushing past Judy on his way up the stairs. Thank you. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, Parish Hall, morning. It's a light-filled room with an assortment of furniture, including a wooden table and chairs placed against a wall featuring the artwork of Sunday school students. Judy and Anthony enter, turn on the overhead lights, and survey the room. Here, let's pull this table out. They lift the table and waddle it to the center of the room. Anthony waits for Judy, thinking. It's so exposed.
Tablecloths?
Definitely not. It shouldn't be so formal.
This looks pretty informal to me.
Let's grab some chairs. I don't want it to look so prepared for them, you know? She goes to grab 2 chairs. He follows.
Then why are we preparing it for them?
Because they asked for the space. It's part of our service. Unobserved. That's what Kendra said. Unobserved. I think she had all these requests. I just don't want them to feel like we've thought too much about it.
Little do they know.
Judy looks at the table, suddenly concerned he might be right. In the office, a phone rings. Oh dear, that must be her. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Street, morning. Kendra, early 30s, dressed sharply, closes the door of a rental car. Judy and Anthony walk over from the church to welcome her. Hi, good morning. Are you Judy? Yes, I'm Judy. Are you Kendra? Kendra Carter, pleasure. So nice to meet you. I mean, I thought I recognized your voice, but I didn't want to presume I recognized your voice. That's okay. And that's okay. Thank you for coming. Judy goes in for a mildly reciprocated hug. How was your flight? It was fine. Good. Oh, this is Anthony. I'm sorry. Nice to meet you. Kendra shakes Anthony's hand. I think you two have spoken. Yes, thank you both for your help. It's a very nice church. Oh, thank you. You want to see inside? Yeah, sure. We have a minute. Get out of the cold. Kendra politely follows them inside the church. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, nave. Now the piano teacher plays another familiar tune, but this one without mistakes. The student watches. Judy and Anthony and Kendra enter from the street. Judy stops to allow Kendra a moment to take in the space. It's nice. Thank you. We think so. Most people drive north to St. Thomas these days, but we still find plenty to do. Where will they be meeting? Oh, sorry. I don't mean to be rude. No, it's okay. Good question. Downstairs. Just follow me here. Judy leads them down the stairs. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, basement, morning. Judy, Anthony, and Kendra enter the basement from the church stairwell. The piano can be heard from above. Judy leads them through the basement to the offices. We hold most meetings in here, but Charlotte thought they should have more privacy, so we'll put them in back. If you think it's best. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's much nicer, lots of lights. And Linda approved. Oh, well, I haven't actually met Linda before. She's not a parishioner, but she's seen it. I assume so. She and Charlotte have met here privately a few times, so they head up the stairs and into the offices. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church office morning. The three of them turn the corner and head back to the parish hall. Kendra lingers for a moment. Will we hear the music back here? Judy and Anthony stop to reconsider. Oh, shoot. Will that be a problem? It might be. Can they stop? They're having lessons today.
Can't we just close the doors?
I just don't want it to be a distraction. Of course, we'll talk to them. You want to see back here? Thank you. They head back to the parish hall. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, parish hall. Judy again gives Kendra a chance to take in the space. What do you think? It's better back here. Oh, right. Kendra moves to the table. She rearranges the chairs so that there are two on either side facing each other. I was told no one would be in the building is all. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, they normally practice in here, but we moved them up to the church. Okay. Will anyone else be in here?
The choir is rehearsing for tomorrow.
Oh, right. Sorry. I put the chairs that way. It's fine. They rehearse up in the church, though? That should be fine. I'm sorry. We're all a little disorganized with Charlotte leaving on such short notice. Yeah. I'm sorry I won't meet her. She said her mother was sick. Yes. It's so sad. She has early Alzheimer's.
Dementia.
Okay, yeah, and it's just awful. She started calling here this week, Charlotte's mom, asking for her husband. He passed over 10 years ago. Oh, God. I know, right? I mean, looking for your dead husband? It's scary.
It'd be scary if she found him.
Anthony, will you go grab some of the snacks I brought? They're downstairs. Maybe lay them out on the table, on the far table. Anthony leaves them alone to get the groceries. Judy mouths sorry to Kendra, who doesn't seem to mind. But the room's okay? I think so. Kendra starts to look around, inspecting the room. We got some water and bagels. Oh, coffee. I'll brew some coffee. That would be nice. And sorry about the chairs, but how's the table? The table? Placement? The placement. It's fine. Good. Yeah. Anthony returns with the groceries. Table's good. You have some tissue? Tissue box? Tissue, yeah, of course. There should be some right here. Judy crosses to a bookshelf. Anthony lays out food. Good thinking. All right, we're getting somewhere. Judy finds a tissue box. Kendra checks her phone.
How many people are coming again?
Why? There'll be 4 of them.
You got like a lot of food.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be eating. Oh, really? I just thought. Anthony raises a large serving container.
What is this?
That's my lunch. Charlotte said to have food. And it's a nice thought, but I don't think we need to have all that out. We shouldn't. Okay, well, we'll save it.
So how long have you worked with the families?
Anthony! That's okay. And just the one family, but 6 years now.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So were you working with them before or? No, it's why we met. Oh.
Have they done this before?
Anthony, that's none of our business. You want to start printing out for tomorrow?
I did.
Okay, have you folded? Anthony hasn't. He goes to leave, then stops at the door.
Are we going to ring the bell?
Judy isn't sure. She looks at Kendra. What time do you do that? We always ring the bell at noon. That's up to you. Anthony leaves. Judy crosses back to the table with the box of tissues. I'm sorry about him. He's fine. We thought about giving him the day off, but his family, they want him busy. You don't need to explain. Okay, that's good of you. God knows he's not your typical church employee. Then again, we are Episcopalian. Sorry, Christian humor. Judy places the tissues in the center of the table. Don't put it in the center. It's freaky. Put it on the side, or maybe back where it was, so they see it, but not, Oh, okay, sorry. As Judy puts the tissues away, Kendra pays closer attention to the artwork in the room. Children's art. In particular, faux stained glass tissue paper hanging by the window. So where will you be during all of this? With them? No, they agreed to be alone. Okay, do you want to wait with us? We got lots of space, great Wi-Fi. I actually have some calls to make, so I'll probably work from my car. Oh no, that's sad. Stay with us. Use Charlotte's office. Okay, we'll figure it out. What are those? What are these? Oh, aren't those great? That was a school project. They're supposed to be, you know, stained glass. Is something wrong? Kendra looks at the rest of the artwork around the room, framed and mounted to the walls. Judy follows her eyes. Oh, it's fine. I'm going to step out and make a call, okay? Okay, sure, yeah, take your time. Kendra leaves. Judy's left alone, staring sadly at the paper hangings. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Street, morning. The SUV from earlier comes to a stop at the church intersection. Interior the Perry's SUV, morning. Jay and Gail Perry, 50s, look nervously at the church.
That must be it.
Gail's eyes are hard, her body unmoving.
Keep driving.
What?
Just keep driving. Not right now. Not ready yet.
Well, where should we go? I don't know where we are.
Anywhere. Just keep driving. Just go that way somewhere. Pull over. Just go.
Okay.
He drives off, away from the church. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Street. Kendra exits from the office onto the street. Up the road, the SUV drives away. Kendra makes a phone call as she heads towards her car. Hi, Linda. No problem. I'm here. Take your time. You spoke with the Reverend? Good. I know she's sorry to miss you. Well, I've met the others filling in. Yeah, they're fine. You don't have to meet them if you don't want. We'll figure it out. Kendra opens the car door and grabs her briefcase. How are you feeling? It's okay to be nervous. You're showing up. How's Richard? Okay. And he's staying with you? I think that's nice, Linda. I do. All right. And you're walking over now? Okay. Well, it'll be good to see you too. Yeah. See you soon. She hangs up, takes a deep breath, and looks around at the mountains surrounding her. Interior, the Perry's SUV, morning. The SUV is parked at a dirt turnout by a wooden fence that borders a meadow and mountains.
Where the hell are we?
Across the road, Jay notices a part of the fence is broken. Yellow tape ties pieces together what's missing, as if some accident happened there. He turns back to Gail.
How are you doing?
Gail avoids eye contact. She doesn't look well.
Honey?
Gail shakes her head.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it.
Well, we don't have to, I guess. We can go. We can leave right now if you want.
No, I mean, I don't think I can say it.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
You don't have to. We can hear what they say, right? But you don't have to do it.
Gail nods weakly, struggling. Jay looks back at the road. Something about the landscape haunts him.
If I don't, would you?
She looks at him now, expectantly. Jay is torn.
I'm sorry, that's not fair.
It's okay. I don't, no, I wouldn't. But we can.
He shrugs almost sweetly, trying to make the best of this.
Are you ready to go back?
Like it's the hardest question she's ever been asked.
Okay.
Exterior secluded street, the Perry's SUV morning. The SUV pulls away, the yellow tape blows in the wind. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church morning. The piano music has stopped. Kendra is back inside. The church and street appear to wait in anticipatory silence. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Parish Hall morning. The room is empty but prepared. Water bottles and tissue placed. The coffee finishes brewing with a soft alarm. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church offices morning. Kendra works in Charlotte's office on her computer. Anthony folds leaflets for Sunday Mass. Judy enters from the parish hall, having tidied up last-minute things. As she enters the office, she notices the SUV pulling up outside the church. Oh dear. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church front entrance morning. Jay and Gail exit their car. They wait for one another, then slowly make their way to the office door. Gail stops to take in a little garden beside the entrance. Mr. and Mrs. Perry.
Hi, Jay Perry, my wife, Gail. Are you Kendra?
Yes, so nice to meet you in person. Come on in.
Gail?
Gail turns back and heads inside the church. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church offices. Gail and Jay have met everyone, but still stand uncomfortably by the door.
Oh, thank you for providing this space.
Of course, we're so happy to help. We have you all set up back here. Yeah, there's food and water, coffee. Do you all want something?
I think we're good for now, right?
I'm fine.
Okay. Anything you need, just let us know. Make yourselves at home. That's right. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Would you like me to show you the space? Jay and Gail look to Kendra for further instructions. I'll show them. Okay. Well, it was nice meeting you. We'll be here if you need anything.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
You too. You can
Yeah.
follow me. Kendra leads the Perrys back to the parish hall, leaving Judy and Anthony behind. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Parish Hall. Kendra walks Jay and Gail into the room. Now in Judy's role, she lets them take in the space. Is the room okay for you?
Oh, yeah, it's fine, thanks.
Good. I'm sorry you'll miss the Reverend, but we're in good hands here. They've been very nice. Well, I know we've gotten your signatures on everything, and you're all squared away as far as our offices are concerned. But while it's just the three of us, is there anything you'd like to ask me?
I think we're okay.
Will they be here soon?
I just spoke with them, and they should be here any minute.
Oh,
I can check again. Will you be okay if I leave you alone for a minute?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'll be right back. She leaves the parish hall. Jay and Gail stay standing, afraid to commit to anything beyond that. Jay watches his wife. She cautiously studies the room. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church. Judy and Anthony sit quietly in the pews. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church, front entrance morning. Kendra stands on the sidewalk waiting. It looks as if she just wanted to be alone or away from the Perrys. After a moment, her phone buzzes and she answers it. Hi, I'm outside. Oh, I see you. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Parish Hall morning. Jay and Gail are as we left them, waiting. We're right in here. Kendra enters with Richard and Linda, 50s. Linda carries a small flower display. They have a ghostly quality. The kind of expectation to be disliked precedes them.
Hello.
Richard, Linda, this is Jay and Gail Perry.
Hi. We've met before, actually.
Of course, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It was a long time ago.
Well, it's nice to meet you again.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
They greet each other without touching. I hope this room is comfortable for you all.
Have you been waiting long?
No, we just got here. Haven't even sat down. Is this okay with you guys?
Yeah, it's fine.
He looks at Linda.
Yes, I thought so.
Gail?
I'm okay.
Okay, good. Linda raises the flowers towards Gail.
I brought these for you.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, they're,
Small.
no, thank you. They're very nice.
Linda cradles the flowers again, embarrassed.
Did we sit?
Yeah, let's have a seat.
The couples take a seat at the table. Linda places the flowers down in front of her. Kendra pulls up a chair to sit with the couples. All right. All right.
I think we're set, yeah.
We are, yes. Well, I'm really grateful to finally see you all here together. May I say that? And I hope we all feel this was the right thing to do once we've left here today. Is that okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Kendra.
All right. I'll leave you alone then. But if you need anything, let me know. I'll be staying right in there. Nice meeting you both.
You too.
She exits to the offices. Her absence and the silence that comes with it is devastating. Gail inspects the flowers.
These are nice.
Oh, thank you. They caught my eye. I wanted to bring something.
Jay smiles tightly, not sure what to make of them. Gail spins them around and then places them out of her way.
I can take them.
Linda places the flowers out of the way.
How was your trip out here?
Drive? Oh, we drove. It was fine. Did you, or,
We flew in last night. I'm staying with Linda.
right, okay.
Richard and Linda's separation creates some awkwardness for the four of them. Linda pushes on.
Will you be driving back or?
We're not sure. We have a room, a hotel arranged, but we may not
Head back?
want to stay. Yeah, right. But thank you for agreeing to meet us and together.
You're welcome. I appreciate you.
She looks to Richard, him having made a trip also.
All of you making the journey. I know I'm not easy to get to.
We're happy to have come to you, Linda.
Yes, I mean, it wasn't easy for any of us. I'm sure to be here. I mean, no matter where.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I know we regret some things we've said.
Don't be regretful.
We wish we didn't have to rely so much on our attorneys, but
I understand better now than I did.
we've already given so much. At this point, it's really just to protect our son.
The Perrys shift slightly at the mention of a son. Richard
Stephen.
clarifies.
Stephen.
Yeah, how is he?
He's doing well. Thank you for asking. They're in Maryland now, not far from me. They have a boy on the way.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. And how's your daughter, Sophie?
Yes,
She's,
she's doing fine.
yeah, much better. She's made real progress in the last year. She says she's ready to apply for college
That's wonderful.
for the
Great.
fall. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
More silence. This is hard. Jay looks at Gail for some support. She's staying silent.
Do we have, did you all bring photos?
Oh, yes.
I know we talked about sharing some. Gail, you want to?
All right, Linda, you?
I brought some other things as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kendra told us you might.
Okay, good.
Well, should we, or do you want to wait?
I'm okay. We agreed. Here,
Gail searches her purse for photographs.
here's Sophie.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She's a young lady now.
Yeah, she's grown up a lot.
Here are some of,
Gail stops, unable to go through with it.
I'd like to see them.
okay,
Even if they agreed to it, this is hard.
this is Evan when he was 3.
Gail hands over a worn photograph. Linda takes it respectfully. She and Richard look at it somberly.
Dear,
What's he got there?
it's so sweet.
Oh, that was his roller toy with the balls that bounce or pop. They popped, right?
I remember those.
Where's the catcher? The catcher outfit.
It's here. We brought it. Here. I think he was 12, Little League.
Oh, I love that photo.
Linda smiles sadly at the boy in the picture.
He was a good athlete, wasn't he?
He was, loved sports. I mean, he had lots of interests, but yes, he was a very good athlete.
Then
He actually, he didn't want to play catcher, but then loved the gears. So
Jay laughs, then stops, uncomfortable sharing.
do we have one of all of us?
Of
Her mood is
course,
darkening.
lots.
She sorts through her collection.
Okay. We had to print some out. Don't have many real photographs anymore,
Yes.
It's nice to hold them, not.
He lazily motions, swiping a phone.
It is.
Gail slides a photo across the table.
This was us,
Oh, that's,
the last Christmas.
yeah. Okay.
Richard and Linda look at the photo.
We dressed up cheesy, right? That's what we'd say. Instead of cheese, cheesy. Kids thought these were, silly.
Linda cries. She isn't consoled. It's as if they all expected this.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Yeah.
Here,
Maybe we should.
No, I'm sorry.
It's fine, Linda.
No, I wanted to share too.
Okay.
I wanted to share ours, but
It's hard.
it is.
How are you doing? Maybe later?
Gail doesn't look well. She gets up from the table, The others react, but she only grabs the tissue box from the bookshelf and gives it to Linda.
Thank you. If I could just show you.
You don't have to.
No,
Maybe it wasn't a good idea.
no, I want to. I brought something. It was easier to, not a photo. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, sure. You said, right?
Gail? Okay.
Linda pulls out a mason jar filled with colored paper cutouts, like little origami animals.
So this is,
Oh, wow.
yes, something he used to carry around all the time
Couple of years.
when he was in 4th and 5th grade.
Younger than that.
Okay, what am I looking at?
Well, he used to love collecting snails,
Really?
and he would,
All kinds of things. Bugs, spiders, things outside.
yes, that's true. He loved collecting things outside, but snails.
Yeah.
He was just really fascinated by snails. And he'd collect them in this jar and carry them around wherever he went, to school even, which caused problems.
The teachers didn't want. There was a rule.
You weren't supposed to have animals in class, but what they weren't really,
Sure, yeah.
and the kids thought it was weird, but
It was a little.
he just loved them. But yes, well, kids thought it was, well, they were messy.
Stephen would, his brother would, torment them various ways.
But there were problems with keeping them this way, and he would get so upset when snails break. So one day he showed up with this.
She holds the jar up proudly for the Perrys to see, displaying the objects inside more clearly.
Paper snails.
Paper snails, yes, and some leaves and a flower, and well, I think that's a rock. It's a garden for the snails, and he said, "This way they won't die." And I think we thought it was so clever
That is, yeah.
or sweet.
God,
Well, I thought it was. Well, at the time I had some concerns.
You did?
Well, not like only about his sensitivity. Really, I was just happy for him to,
Find a solution. He was always determined to find a solution.
yes. I was happy that he,
They fall silent for a beat, staring at the jar. Linda, a little ashamed, puts it away.
well, thank you.
no, thank you for sharing.
I wanted to show you something.
She looks to Richard for support. He nods.
So your daughter, she's doing well?
She's doing well, yes.
Yeah, she's going to be fine. She's so much more sociable now. We miss her now. She's going out too much.
That's nice.
She's dating.
Well, I don't know.
She's dating.
Okay. She's really been herself again.
Good.
She's made a lot of progress.
Well, that's wonderful.
You mentioned to Linda you had some progress yourself. Your letters, the therapist.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I told him.
Well, she just mentioned.
You said you found someone who's been,
Yes, she's been very helpful. That's right.
that's good.
Yes, she is a big reason we're here.
I see her as well.
Oh,
To me.
To meet this way or to talk.
okay. Oh, you both see her?
Well, we
Jay and Gail look at one another, unsure of how much to divulge and not in total agreement about it either.
We do.
Yes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, she really encouraged us to just express ourselves, not interrogate. We don't want to interrogate.
Richard and Linda nod, but no, this is impossible.
Curious, but not defensive.
Vindictive.
What?
She said vindictive.
I thought defensive.
No, if we are vindictive, then
Oh, right. Sorry. It doesn't matter. We aren't here to attack. We've promised that, but we've meant everything. I mean, we've felt everything we've said. We can't apologize for our feelings.
Thank you for your honesty.
We want to listen.
we want to listen and we want to heal.
Of course.
You know, your letters, while they've been very difficult for all of us, I'm sure, they've meant so much to me. Even the hard ones, I really appreciate them.
We could tell you've done a lot of work. Continue to. And I don't mean what you've done publicly, but it is admirable how you put yourself out there. We've actually, Linda and I have followed your work over the years.
Everyone's.
Yes, everyone's. But
Oh, well, I don't know. Thank you. I don't get pleasure from it.
it can be defeating, that kind of activism.
Yeah, it can, but I don't even like that word. I wouldn't know what else to do.
Your persistence is admirable.
Gail gives Jay a pointed look. He feels it.
Thank you, but I'm not sure that's what we need to talk about today.
Richard notices, but continues anyway.
I don't think it's not relevant. You don't think? As a country, we're meeting our obligations.
Well, I was quoting Obama, but no, I don't. I think we're killing each other. We are.
Don't disagree. There's just so many factors.
Okay.
It's hard to know.
And I'm not saying it's one or the other. See, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I promised I wouldn't talk about this today.
We don't have to.
No,
I'm not saying it's one or the other. That's their defense. It's a fallacy. It's a distraction. Don't look over here by guns. It's over there, my mental health, as if we can't address both. It's insulting.
Well, exactly. Yes, we can. But if your child wanted to hurt himself, would you only remove the dangerous items in your home? No. You'd want to help him. You'd want to know why he was upset and why you'd want to change that.
Are the dangerous items things nobody needs?
I guess my point is, I worry that certain legislation is its own distraction.
It's fetishistic at this point. In today's world, it's fetish.
Okay, Jay.
All right. Sorry. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
it's all right. Well, I think we need to be able to listen to each other. We don't seem to anymore, do we? I wish we were having more of a conversation,
Yeah. Well,
or at least, I'm sorry. We might be able to hear who is asking for help.
not everyone knows how to ask for help or wants to.
That's true, but there's a crisis center not far from here. I've thought about volunteering, and when you walk in, anyone, you're asked to check in. Anxiety, fear, sadness, and And they do this every day. I thought, how could you not be honest?
I can't imagine giving a kid a chart every day.
What about mental health examinations along yearly physicals? You see your health physician, why not your mental health expert as well?
Mandatory brain scans.
Well, why not? Most people in this country can't distinguish mental health from mental illness.
Who's paying for all this? Sorry. Look, I agree. We need to change how it's monitored. We've politicized threats so much. We don't have resources where we need them.
Why are we talking about this?
Sorry?
Why are we talking about this? I didn't come here to listen to this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Didn't mean to offend. I think we find change. I think we find through blame our means to change. And I want to question that. I want to look at everything. Because I blame myself, I can't change that.
The Perrys react to this seeming admission.
What do you mean? When you say that, what do you mean?
That I can't change what I've done.
So you blame yourself? I'm asking, you blame yourself?
Hey,
No, I want to know. I don't want to talk about fucking politics. I want to know.
I know, but we don't want to interrogate, right?
I can imagine it's so hard to live with his actions.
It is.
But our loss. Please tell me what you mean by that.
I think all of us would give our lives to prevent another tragedy like it. I would.
I would too.
Yes,
We all would, gladly.
but when you talk about blame on your part, I'd like to know what you're referring to.
There's nothing that wasn't covered in the depositions.
But I want to hear it now. We never filed against you. We never took part in that.
Maybe a better way, so as not to interrogate. We can learn by what we remember, right?
Fine. Tell me what you remember. Tell me about your son.
What would you like to know?
Everything. I want to know everything.
Why?
Why? Why do I want to know about your son? Because he killed mine.
This stops the four of them cold.
How far back would you like to go?
Wherever you need.
Because I can tell you everything, but there's still so much no one will ever know.
Gail, understanding, nods.
And there's so much no one will ever know. He was shy, always, even as a baby. We watched him, but I never worried. I saw things no one else did, but he was shy. He didn't play well with others. Not that he was mean, he just didn't seem to know how to. But once when he was a little older, he would only want to be outside. He loved the outdoors.
I know this.
Gail,
No, I know that. He was shy. He loved animals. I read everything.
I don't know what you want me to say.
What did worry you? You said you never worried, but what scared you?
My son didn't scare me as a child. The photographs I have, the ones we don't want to look at, they're of a boy. That's all you'll see.
I don't need to see them, okay?
that's not why we.
I don't need to see them.
Day nods, choosing solidarity.
What changed? I want to know. When he's 13, he starts going online or he starts that gaming profile, the account.
They were not violent games then.
I know, but that was,
They were fantasy games, role play.
I know. but it was the same account he used later. So I'm asking, what changed? There's this boy who plays outside who supposedly loves nature, but now he's indoors all day online. What changed?
Linda and Richard share a look.
It's very hard to answer.
Please try.
There isn't just one thing.
Then tell me more than one.
Gail, please, let's not do it this way.
Gail looks at her husband, then down. She takes a deep breath.
I'm sorry. You're right. We're not interrogating.
What are you doing? I say that as compassionately as I can. What are we doing? You say you want to heal? We all do. Is this how?
Gail stares at Linda, unsure. Jay tries to help her.
We want to know why, how this happened, right? I mean,
Jay chooses his words carefully.
we want to hear that. We need your help with that.
I'm willing to help. We moved. You asked what changed. We moved.
We did, but we can't be certain which changes affected him most.
The new school or environment was hard for him.
Hayden, he didn't have close friends growing up. As I'm sure you know, by middle school, that mattered more and it affected him. A lot of things changed around that age. I had a new job. Stephen was applying for colleges, and we were looking at tuition costs, private schools. We moved
Our older house had more space.
outdoors. We moved to where there was actually a bigger home.
Yes, that's true, but where we were had a great big yard.
The new neighborhood was very nice. It was just more suburban.
Plus, there wasn't the freedom he loved.
But it was nice.
It was, Richard.
The new school was hard for him. 7th grade in particular, bullying.
It was very bad.
Yeah. And the boys were a few years apart. So Stephen, who was really thriving in high school, well, he didn't have a lot of time to give Hayden at that time, unfortunately. Sometimes I wish they'd been closer in age, so they could have shared friends. We didn't plan to or expect to have another.
We thought we might be too old, but we weren't. He was lonely, and I think he missed how things were. Well, that's when he started spending more time on the computer. But the games we thought were creative. We encouraged them at first. They let him make choices, or he got to be whatever he wanted to be, and we could hear him playing with others. He'd laugh. And that made me, and he did well in school, which was confusing or misleading.
He always had very good grades. He was very smart.
I know.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's fine. We had nothing to do with publishing his grades or scores, any of that.
We know you didn't speak.
I was only saying.
We mistakenly thought his grades were a sign that things were okay.
That's not all.
Well, we did, Richard. We thought that's what mattered.
He wasn't fitting in. That hurt. But the grades made us look past some of that.
Did the school say anything?
This was middle school, not.
I know, but
School couldn't be bothered. He was quiet with good grades, so he didn't require attention. There was a math teacher, though, in 8th grade.
Linda,
No, Hayden loved him. And I don't know what their connection was or why it was so great, but he made Hayden feel confident when he didn't. I wish I would have. When he was really struggling later on, I tried to see if I could talk to him, but he left for another school and I gave up trying to reach him. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He was teased because he had other interests, and I think that made him embarrassed to have those interests. I think he saw being different as a deficit. He did. But we didn't know or realize it until he showed signs of depression.
He didn't strike you as sad before?
It was quiet, but no.
Violent?
No, not then. And we grew concerned. We got help.
When was that?
His medical history was made public.
But was there something specifically?
No, it was unwillingness to do things. Once Stephen left for college, he became angry with our attention for him.
Why? What would be wrong with that?
I think he resented our concern. He wouldn't even let us touch him.
And that's when you got help?
Eventually. He didn't want to.
He never did. We finally forced him to see someone.
I felt like we had no choice, but he would beg to stop. He pleaded with us to let him be normal, or that he didn't need it anymore, or that the sessions made him feel not.
What?
That they made him feel not human.
He said that?
The Perrys processed this.
So what did the therapist say? I mean, to you.
He needs to stop isolating. It's reinforcing all his negative expectations. All the time online isn't enhancing his relationships, it's making him lonelier.
So you stopped, or you let him stop going?
For a while. Then things would get worse or something would happen.
Like the pipe bomb?
And we go through it again. Yeah, that certainly had consequences.
Consequences? Oh, Jesus.
The time it did, he was arrested.
There was no consequence.
I know how that sounds, but we were devastated. And we tried everything, but was the doctor good? Would they get the prescriptions right or take insurance? And of course, we'd pay anything, but it was expensive. Well, I'm just saying, this is the reality of how it was, how defeating. And even with all the professional advice, it was really just us facing these choices alone. But we did try over and over. You can see.
It's true. There is no new information regarding his medical or criminal records. You have access to everything.
Why didn't you say anything to the school? This was high school now, right?
Richard and Linda look at one another. This was critical to the lawsuits.
We didn't have to.
He had just started there. We didn't want it to reflect badly on him.
God.
I'm sorry.
As long as he completed his program, his record,
Oh, Jesus Christ. That program was a joke.
they missed things. We all did.
He was lying.
Did you know that?
I suspected he was holding things back, but I never could have believed that he.
I understand not speaking publicly made us look like we had secrets.
It's not secrets that I have doubts about or facts. It's knowing, a parent's intuition. It's your child. You feel it. It should hurt you.
It did. And we got him help.
Everything that happened afterwards, the lawsuits, the media, the hate that flooded into our lives, never once did we feel ready or prepared for any of it. We tried our best to survive. And in fact, most days dying ourselves seemed like a better alternative. Why not speak? Because I don't have an answer. Why not help prevent this from happening again? Because I don't know how.
But you must have thought about.
Every interaction I've had with him, yeah, just understand that until the civil statutes ran out, we were rarely given permission to speak. Even our apologies had to be worded. Linda couldn't join a mother's support group because they were worried she'd be put the other women at risk.
At risk?
Of being deposed.
I didn't know that.
They fall silent. seeming to reach a dead end.
Well, look, I think much of what happened in the aftermath was wrong. I mean, we know now how many mistakes were made, even from the beginning, just institutionally. We're all victims. It's why we never filed suit, why we were happy to sign waivers for today. We didn't want anything.
We wanted Evan back.
Yes, and that was impossible. And from what we could gather, you didn't have answers, like you say, but
In hindsight, we would have done things differently. The authorities would have too. There was negligence. That was the basis of all the settlements.
this is what I want to know. What do you regret? What is your regret?
I regret everything. The worst imaginable outcome happened. Any change I have made could have made result in a different outcome. I regret everything.
How can you be so matter of fact?
How else can I be?
No, no. The way you can speak about it. We decided against litigation, but it doesn't mean we didn't, or we don't want to see you punished. I'm sorry, but want to see you hurt? Want to see,
Like everybody else.
yes, like everyone else.
Like you?
Yes, like me, like us, like my daughter who doesn't sleep.
Of course, we hurt.
Transparency. I think that is what we want. I think we are owed that today.
Then please ask what you need. But that is exactly what you've been given.
Jay pushes forward despite the feeling of going in circles.
All right. He made a pipe bomb, and was arrested. He had probation or the program.
Scared.
Jay stops in his tracks.
What?
Richard, we were scared. I was scared.
You were.
I was.
I know, Linda. He told us before he had contemplated suicide, but only on this test did he mention thoughts of homicide. We were scared, but I was trying to see the best possible outcome.
We should have done something then. We should have.
Now, of course, now, but what? And I couldn't accept he would throw away his future because of a homemade bomb. Linda, please.
When did or where did this interest in bombs come from? Were you surprised or?
Yes.
We don't know. Anywhere. And yeah, we were surprised, shocked.
He said he read it online. He said he was bored.
He said it was just something to do.
I'm not the only one.
What?
Yes, that's what he said. And once he made it, he figured he'd set it off. He went into the woods.
Where we used to live.
No one was around. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Or he didn't. We believed, he hoped. It was what he said it was. Later on, we found more plans in his room. He said there was good money in artillery engineering, working in the Defense Department. That was his excuse.
How could you believe that?
We knew nothing about it.
But after everything else, how could you believe that?
Because I wanted to. Because I had to. Because I know now it was just a way of making us think he had bigger plans. Other plans, sorry. I thought he wanted to do something with his life, something he was good at or something that made him happy, because otherwise he seemed to have stopped caring. We tell our kids they can be anything, right? We teach them that because we believe it. I did. He told me things. I thought he confided in me. I know now what he said was purposely deceitful to keep me away.
We really thought he was turning things around. We had plans for the summer, college. We were told once someone decides their fate, they do find some happiness. They can even appear euphoric. The last few months, we were happy.
He checked off homicidal thoughts.
His therapist said it's normal
Normal?
for a young man to be angry. Yeah.
Why have the question if you choose to ignore it?
Sorry.
What about the anger? Your neighbor called the police.
They called us, not the police. About a year before, it was a bad night. We would try to calm him down, minimize whatever it was that was bothering him. I understand now that he may have only intensified his feelings.
He could be frightening.
Linda conspicuously has little to say.
He would get frustrated easily, frustrated with things he couldn't figure out. It would
Embarrass him.
Yeah. And it was always hard for him to ask for help, but eventually he just stopped asking entirely. Maybe my expectations were too high. I'd let it go, thinking not to bother him, but then I've done my accounting. There is no criticism I haven't already placed on her or placed on myself. We are not impassive, as you said.
I've taken that back.
Indifferent.
It was because you wouldn't speak. You never really spoke out.
We released a statement.
Not that. That was nothing. Why couldn't you say more?
We weren't allowed to.
No, it's been years.
When we asked for privacy, we were accused of hiding something.
No, you could have said,
What could we say? Please tell me what? What should I say?
the signs.
We didn't know.
After everything, you couldn't have been surprised.
But we were. We didn't know what had happened. I still don't. I just came home from work and the phone rang.
What?
A friend of his called the house asking if he were there. I said, aren't you both at school? But I didn't.
Wait.
He said Hayden hadn't been there all day and that something happened. Something's happened. I had no idea. Even after turning on the television, seeing the school from above, what he could be talking about, I didn't. We really didn't know.
Linda falters, unable to shake the trauma.
This was Alex, the friend who called,
Yeah.
who knew
No. He suspected.
they were his father's guns.
He didn't know Hayden had taken them.
He asked you to look for them. If you can't ask then, you must have thought before.
He asked because it had happened. He was there. None of us knew yet.
But he asked you to check his room, right? Or the closet?
Yes, it was Alex. He said he wasn't answering his phone and that he hadn't seen him. Can you check? Yes, but I didn't understand what I was even looking for. I thought he would tell me, but he kept crying and saying he was sorry. I thought he did something.
We all did.
We never knew Alex's family had guns or that Hayden had used them. We learned all of this after.
Where were you? When?
I was working. I have events out of order, apparently. I can't remember all of them. A friend, a colleague, had called me out of my office. The television was on. Everyone was watching. You called me.
Yes.
Once I was driving, I'd run to my car and
Wait, I'm sorry, but
Jay stops story time, showing some frustration.
why are you? Why? I don't need to hear this. I don't want to.
I'm sorry.
No, I believe you. I believe you didn't know. I don't want to hear this. I want to know why you didn't do something and why you never said anything. Jeez, I want to know why you didn't stop him.
I want to.
What?
I want to hear.
But
I know, but I want to hear.
Gail looks at Richard and Linda, asking them to continue. They look at one another, finding their place.
I called you.
Yeah, but it was hard for us to speak.
Couldn't. I tried.
Yeah, I could tell. So I feared the worst, but I hadn't. You said he was never here.
His room. His bed was made, and there was this notebook on his pillow. I'd never seen it before, but it was worn and marked. I was so scared. It must have been there all day, all night.
The Perrys sicken hearing this.
I didn't know what she'd seen yet. I was just trying to get home. But at some point I thought, why am I going home? I need to get to the school. But then I got a call from my sister. She kept telling me to pull over. I said I would not. I will not stop driving. And then we were both crying. So I don't remember. I pulled onto our street. I guess that's where I wanted to go, but I was too late.
There were hundreds. So sudden, all in black, helicopters.
I couldn't get near the driveway. I just left the car. I still don't know who moved it back. They kept us apart. They made me wait outside while they searched the house.
They put me in the backyard. I kept saying it was a mistake, that it was. There was a young policeman watching me to make sure I didn't, I learned this later, hurt myself. I finally asked him, is my son dead? He said, not unkindly, yes, but that's all I can tell you, as if
Anything else mattered. This drops like a heavy stone into all their hearts. Linda cries softly.
It was wrong what they did. Keeping us apart. It was wrong.
it's okay, Richard.
No, they didn't have to. I kept asking, demanding to see my wife. I begged Linda.
Something irreparable happened during that separation.
That wasn't our fault.
It was wrong.
It was. Many times I wish he had killed me too, but he loved us. He told us. He said he was sorry for what we would go through.
In the notebook.
Jay and Gail are appalled.
he destroyed your lives, all of our lives.
He did, but the love we had, it was real. The truth is, we believed we were good parents. And in this awful, confusing way, we still do. Isn't it worse that I thought I was a good mother? I loved my children. Other parents, I wasn't so different. What did I do so differently? It's very hard to trust anything anymore. I raised a murderer. Sometimes I don't know if I'm still grieving or if I ever really have. His service was in secret. No local church would memorialize him. Richard had to beg to bury his son. And when we found a place, I was so ashamed of their kindness. Well, you're supposed to tell happy stories. We hid. So many friends didn't know what to say and didn't come.
We had our closest relatives with us. Good friends.
I remember checking the clock. We were so overwhelmed with blame. Our financial situation it was impossible. Grief felt like something out of reach. I didn't stop him because I didn't know. And I didn't speak because I didn't know how. And I'm sorry, but I never thought I had enough good to say. I want answers. I do. I have to reconcile his actions with the child I loved and raised. But there may be none. And maybe we're the last people to ask.
For the Perrys, this is a devastating thought. Jay shakes his head, remembering something.
We know the hate.
The others look at him. He stands and walks towards the table with food and drinks.
Joy Murphy's parents would say that. Their church, remember? We need not know why they hate, for we know they hate, or something like that. Oh, so stupid.
He grabs a water bottle, opens it, and drinks.
These are for us, right?
Sure, it's okay.
Anyone want to? No. But that whole church movement afterwards, it made me so angry. What, the devil? So meaningless. And leave it to the Catholic Church to have the most bankrupt reaction of all. Sorry.
This is an Episcopalian church.
Oh, all right. Well, Christian, or sorry, I'm not religious.
He finishes his water bottle and looks for the trash.
They recycle?
Just leave it.
All right. But they found acceptance first, or at least understood it for what it might always be. But for the rest of us who need reason, what was he?
We knew he was troubled, just not how capable.
What about the diagnosis early on at 15, antisocial personality disorder?
We were told he exhibited signs of antisocial and bipolar personality disorder, but nothing that would suggest.
Jay crosses back to his side of the table but stays standing.
No. I'm not trying to. I believe you didn't. I'm asking because a psychiatrist told us afterwards that he never would have shared his real problems, or that he couldn't, that
We thought he might with his friends. We asked him to.
He finally started making friends again in high school. He found a good group.
I'm sorry, a good group. Alex showed him the guns.
Hayden stole them. His friends had nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying, it's hard to hear you call them a good group. These were the kids going to gun ranges. Playing Call of Duty all day and night, right? Isn't that where that started?
It's a video game.
It's simulation. And the visits to the shooting range? How
Only
many?
two. Only
That
two.
we know. Yeah, that we know about. And you don't even need to go with those games now.
If you allow me to finish addressing your point, I was saying that by the end of his life, despite whatever was going on inside, he seemed popular for him in his circle.
Jay sits down. Jay sits back down to focus his thoughts for them.
Okay. But what I'm talking about is different.
And I'm saying we couldn't see how isolated he was because he was popular or not. That's not the right word, I know, but we couldn't really know the level of intimacy in his social life. From where he had been, we were just happy to see him have a social life.
Okay. So that isolation.
He was bullied in high school.
Not by his friends.
Still, they told the police how often he talked about killing certain students.
They said they all talk that way. His group of friends experienced a lot of bullying.
And that's fine. Now, I don't care. I'm sorry. If I could just get this out, that isolation, even around friends, that detachment is sometimes indicative of a lack of feeling or empathy. Add to that the thousands of hours online and without any real human contact. This is just how the psychiatrist explained it.
We understand the psychology.
Okay, look, what I learned is there are studies based on MRIs, brain scans, and they say they can see the responses or lack of response in the brain, that there are actually less connections, less matter in the prefrontal cortex and amygdala.
Jay,
No, wait, please. Have you heard of mirror neurons?
Jesus, Jay, we're qualified.
I know I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to. I thought this was helpful. The basic idea. I mean, you brought up brain scans, mental health evaluations. If we could have seen or been able to predict something, because in these tests, the doctors, they'll see.
I know. They show certain words or pictures that should generate a response, some emotion or feeling, but they don't.
Right. The people diagnosed with psychopath.
My son was empathetic. He felt a great deal.
But I'm saying this to help you, that it might be helpful.
My son was not a psychopath. Can't see.
Angel might be frozen.
I can see you.
Yeah. Okay. My son was not a psychopath. He was in terrible pain.
But maybe not treatable, because did anything ever work? How many different medications, drugs? If it's the actual structure of the brain, I mean, that it is not just pathological, it's physical.
I understand what you want to say.
So that it wasn't just high school or middle school, it was him.
Do you remember Evan as a baby?
Of course.
I remember. I feel Hayden as my baby every day. His helplessness, his crying, then his smile. I don't believe in what you're saying.
Jay audibly scoffs at Linda's sanctimony.
Linda, something must have happened.
There was no abuse.
Not just abuse.
Neglect. We were there as much as we could be.
And we can't always be, I know, but we have to correct their course when we do have them.
So we failed. I failed. I know that. I tried everything to correct it. And I would have given anything to be there with him.
But you were.
If I could have known.
Well, maybe no one could get through to him, that he wasn't capable.
No.
Possible schizoaffective disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, mania, ADHD.
None of which are psychopathy. You know nothing. You don't know what you're talking about.
Take those medical records with the criminal report. I mean, we finally have the full report of what happened. Don't you have to weigh the evidence, the facts of what he did against the relationship or history you had with him?
He became them. He wasn't always them.
We can trace how far back he planned this. We can trace his footsteps, for Christ's sake.
I don't believe the timeline definitively proves anything about his mental state.
How can you say that?
We're not denying what he did or who he became.
But I can't help but hear you blame a not abnormal childhood.
He's my son. I can't remove my feelings from our history or his records.
I'm not asking you for that, but what he did, his capacity for murder was potentially there long, long before anyone could have known.
You think you can attach one word to something in order to understand it? To make you feel safe? Well, I won't say it. I don't believe it. It's not simple. It's everything you cannot see. And it left him helpless. He was helpless.
But it's our job to help. That's our job. At some point, it doesn't matter whether or not you see the signs, it's still our obligation.
I said I failed.
And what I'm saying is that maybe you had very little choice. The report speaks for itself.
He was gone by then. He was,
I mean the deliberate choices.
He did not target.
What? How can you say that?
Why does that matter?
He would have said so.
No, he murdered people.
Or why is one better?
What do you mean he didn't target?
I don't believe he looked for any one person.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Does it matter?
He never met any of them.
It was his school. They were his students.
He'd never been in that classroom before.
He wanted to kill them.
Those students, they weren't his grade. Evan,
Don't.
I'm just saying.
No, just don't.
He didn't know them,
He wanted them to suffer.
Jay,
but not.
What? Not intentionally? What were you going to say?
He didn't seek out to make any one individual suffer.
But my son did. Evan suffered so much, and he let him.
I'm sorry, both of you.
No,
I know what happened.
no, you don't.
wait.
He did the most awful thing I've ever known, but I know the report.
No, you don't. You don't know how my son died.
Jay slams his fist down on the table.
He entered Evan's classroom at 1:29 p.m. He threw a bomb in the center of the desks, and he stayed there shooting for a half a minute. He could have killed everyone in that time. He chose not to. He watched them. They saw his face. They saw the way he looked. He knew Evan was still alive. He knew exactly who was hurt, and he wasn't when he left.
He could never see into the.
Please.
No, he suffered. The first gunshots happened at 1:29 when the attack began. He left them bleeding, dying. 6 minutes. 6 minutes later, he comes back, your son, to retrace his steps. He's in the hallway again at 1:35. He came back to finish. And Evan was there. The last gunshot, 1:36, the bullet hit his neck, his artery.
Jay,
6 minutes. He was alive. He was trying to get out. The blood trails show he was trying to.
please stop.
No. Then it was methodical. He was looking. He came back and Evan was still alive.
I know.
No, you don't know. I know the streaks on the floor, the way he crawled for his life, the wounds in what order, how he fought, and how he died.
Jay,
No, how he died.
now stop, please.
Jay is finished. He wipes away a tear, incensed by its timing, and slumps back into his seat. Gail steps away from the table. needing to be alone. She sits in an armchair by the window. They all need some time.
Caroline, Jonathan, and Tori were killed instantly by the blast. Daniel shot 3 times in the chest, twice in the lungs, once in the heart. He died seated at his desk. Juliana shot twice in the leg, once in the knee and once in the thigh, the femoral artery.
What are you doing?
She lost her vision because of the glass in her eyes. She tried to crawl out of the classroom, but she died before finding her way.
Okay.
Vanessa shot 4 times, twice in the abdomen, twice in the head.
We understand, you know.
Linda looks to ground, stricken.
The victims and the wounded, I'm sorry, but I know all of them. I know Evan, his story that day, and I know Hayden's. He did go back. He was going to the library where he wanted to die, where he told us, wrote us in his notebook, that's where you'll find me, where it's quiet for me, where respectfully the last shot was at 1:41 in the library. He passed the classroom on his way back. He saw Evan in the hallway. He didn't go back inside. I don't believe he ever intended to, planned to. It doesn't negate what he did do.
Silence. Jay, totally depleted, still can't let go.
But people saw. The kids saw. Christopher?
Shot in the head. I know. My son
The face hiding,
under his desk.
begging for his life.
Linda gets up from the table and sits on a chair against the wall.
We don't know what they were saying.
Witnesses, they were facing each other. He was on his knees.
That's what they said.
That is not feeling.
That is hate.
No, that is
Disturbed, hate, rage, hopelessness.
no, apathy, indifference, cold, callous.
Evil? Do you want me to say? Because I won't. I won't.
Doesn't matter.
He gets up and goes to get a water bottle for himself. He takes small sips. He sits down on a bench in the corner of the room.
No. I've heard all the theories. Was he a terrorist? Was he a white nationalist? He didn't target any race. He threw pipe bombs into classrooms he'd never stepped foot into before. He wanted to hurt the world, and he did. He went to the school. Did you know that? It was supposed to be for the victims' families. Hayden would not be counted as a victim, but we fought for that. And we saw the damage, the windows, the black stains. We saw his hate.
The lines.
What he did. What?
The lines are taped, the outlines of the children and Mr. Moore.
Gail winces at the memory.
Of the bodies. That was, I didn't know you were allowed in.
Just kept secret. They didn't want to.
More outrage. The world mourned 10, we mourned 11. There are no memorials for 11, no concerts reading 11 names. And I understood that, but I wasn't going to be excluded from that too. The pain, though, How much? He was in pain. It was the pain that brought him there. I didn't want another child, but once he was born, I loved Hayden so much. He was my best friend. We had so much fun. But maybe he should never have been born.
No. Maybe we should never have gone to the school. I just remember this terrible feeling of awe, just awe for what my boy had done. And then this long, skinny frame outline on the carpet, all alone. I knew it was him, not because of where it was, or I knew it was him.
I recognized Evan too, just like, not because of the lines, but the number, the number markers for the report.
Yes.
He was number one. He was the first they found, I guess, but he was mine. Sorry, that was hard.
Linda nods sadly, finding comfort in their shared pain.
It was. But please forgive me. It made me feel like the rest of you.
Gail reacts in the corner with a soft cry. Jay looks at his wife, then to Linda.
Some parent, I can't remember who, said early on in a mean way, meant to be mean, that you were the loneliest people in the world, as if that was justice, as if.
Well, we were.
We still receive mail. At least I do. Some hateful, some sympathetic, most just strange.
Yes. Well, I never understood its purpose. It only reminded me of what he did when I just wanted to heal or restore my memory of who he was. And that's what I have to do. You understand? You said he destroyed our lives. Yes, he did, but while I know the world would have been better off without him, I can't say I would have been.
Oh, God.
Sorry. I know that's just...
No.
Linda stands, sensing Gail's pain, and moves towards her.
I shouldn't have said that. I thought I had to believe in my son's life had no value because of what he did before he died. I don't have to believe that, do I? Or is that too hard for you to hear?
I guess, yes, it is, but I won't tell you how to keep your son.
They look at Gail.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's hard, but no. I think that's right. God, I don't know.
It's okay. I wouldn't ever expect you to feel that way.
No, it's not it. Not your son. Him. It's value. It's all of their values. See, I made a promise. I made a promise to him that I can't keep.
Hey.
No, please.
Linda takes Gail's chair and brings it over to sit by her. The two women face one another near the window.
What did you promise him?
I promised him that his life would mean something, that it wouldn't be in vain, that because of him, all of them, there would be change.
She looks at Jay, broken, crying.
But nothing has changed. Nothing. The only difference is that they're gone. That's all I hear. Still, I hear all those parents, the last of us left in that firehouse, the loneliest people in the world, asking, what do you mean? They're gone. Gone where? Where have they gone? So you talk about value, their lives having value. That's all I want. I just want it to mean something. I want it to change.
Why does it have to?
What?
Tell me a story about Evan.
What?
Please, tell me a story about him.
Now?
Yes.
I can't. There's too many.
But that's okay. Don't think. Just speak.
Jay.
It's okay. Go.
No. Come here.
She beckons him closer to be with her for this.
Okay. Okay. I see. I think he's 12, 6th grade. I don't know. He's young. It's fall. He's playing football with his friends. They would play in the park by the home on Sundays, just a few blocks from our home. But we had dinner to go to that night. Jay's parents were visiting. I said, don't get too dirty. We're leaving the house by 5. And he said, Mom, the dirtier you are, the better you are. That's how you spot the best players on the team. They have the grass and stains on their jerseys. I said he was funny, and I said, shouldn't the good players not be tackled and fall on the ground so much? No, Mom. The best players are the dirtiest. Okay. He was like that about everything. He'd have these strong opinions. Didn't matter if you knew anything about what he was talking about.
She laughs through tears. Richard joins the others with the tissue box.
So of course, it's 5 or almost 5, and he's not back yet. And I'm all ready to go and just go down there and grab him, and drag him back. When Sophie comes in the door, she followed Evan everywhere back then. She loved watching the boys play and goof around. She bursts through the house and says, oh my gosh, look at Evan. I come around the corner and he's like head to toe covered in mud.
It was absurd.
It was. He must have tried to cover himself like a mud bath. It didn't really make any sense even. So I lost it. Evan, what did you do?
He was totally unfazed.
Yeah, right. He played it cool. He said, Mom, I told you, the best players, Oh, mad. And then I was laughing. And then hugging him. And the dirt, the grass, that smell, wet leaves, the child on him. I could feel so much life. We let him go to dinner that way.
Oh, he washed his face.
Yeah, he was so proud.
That's what his life meant. Let him rest. Evan doesn't have to change the world.
But I still miss him.
Do you remember what you wrote to me?
God, I wrote you way too much.
You wrote me that you wanted me to know your son, know his name.
But this breaks through. Gail looks at Linda, amazed.
Do you have a story?
Oh, God. All of them, but let's just preserve them, okay?
Gail has gone somewhere else.
Jay,
Yeah?
I think I need to.
What?
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I need to tell you. I wanted to so badly for you to be an example or punished. I came here hoping for that. But something's died in all of us. All of us. And I'm so scared that what I wanted or what I thought I need isn't what I thought.
Think.
That if I forgave you, I'd lose him.
No.
Yes, but maybe I just needed to be with you because I know I forgive you.
Linda cries.
I have. I forgive you. And I want you to know that I also forgive Hayden for what he did, for taking my baby's life. Because I know in my heart he was lost. And because I can't live this way anymore.
Sweetheart.
I can't. We can't.
Hey.
No, we don't sleep. We don't breathe. We don't see each other anymore. We don't. And I want us to again.
Okay.
I want us to.
He nods, crying.
Okay? Because I can't hold on to this. It's not him. It's this. Just terrible pain from wishing for a different past. And I can't let it control my life. Because if I do, I'm afraid I really won't ever see Evan again. And I know I will be with him again. I will feel him against me if I can forgive and if I can love again. And so I do. I do.
Empty of tears, she breathes. The four of them fall into a deep, exhausted silence. After a while, Linda offers a way out.
Maybe this is right. Yeah. A moment of silence. Maybe this is the way to say goodbye.
Sure. I like that. Should we?
You're fine.
They attempt eye contact like clumsy toast, and then go quiet. Heads bow slightly, and they do their best to say goodbye, say a prayer. Richard breaks first, raising his head with a confident exhale. The others eventually come up for air.
Well, thank you again. I hope we were able to help.
A formality has returned.
Yeah. Is that it?
Jay, surprising himself, doesn't want to leave.
I think so. I'm exhausted.
Okay. Well, if we feel like, I guess we can always speak again.
Richard and Linda smile politely. Richard stands.
Thank you so much for bringing your pictures.
Oh, of course. Thank you too.
Okay.
Thank you for the flowers.
You're welcome.
The travel, the flowers. I don't want you to.
Oh, we'll manage.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe Kendra can get you a box or something to put them in.
Should have thought of that.
No, it's okay. No, we can hold them, right?
Well, there was the woman who worked here. They might have something.
I don't think we met her, but let me go see.
Richard exits purposefully next to the offices. The others aren't sure what to do next.
Oh, is that coffee? Oh, I could use some coffee. Anyone want?
Just maybe some water, maybe.
Linda?
I'm okay.
Bottle for the road, no?
Okay.
Jay crosses to the food table. Richard and Kendra can be heard speaking in the office. Judy's voice joins, having been included in the search. Jay returns, handing Linda and Gail each a water bottle.
You don't want coffee?
Nah, it's too late. Bad idea.
He stays standing awkwardly. Linda looks for an exit.
Maybe I'll go see if I can help.
Okay, yeah. Should we?
Yeah.
Gail nods, not moving. Linda collects her purse and leaves the room. Jay and Gail are alone again.
I'll be right there.
Okay.
Jay leaves. Only Gail remains. She slowly gets up to collect her purse. Before leaving, she stops to look at the artwork on the wall. She closes the door behind her. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church offices morning. Moments later, everyone is looking for a way to protect the flowers. Linda and Richard stand by the front door. Gail and Jay stay further inside, allowing the others space to look. Let me see what we have.
Whatever you can find.
Yeah, no, so you can put them on the floor and not worry about it. I get, but nothing too big, right? And we have more stuff downstairs.
Are you sure?
You have newspaper?
Yeah, please don't trouble yourselves.
I'm sorry. I should have thought of that. Just
It's fine. They'll find something.
What about bubble wrap?
I don't think we have bubble wrap.
Yeah, we do.
Something to stuff it, right?
Is this too much trouble?
How is this? It's too big, isn't it?
They brought a new hymnal book in a box.
Oh yeah, good idea. Go check. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. And let me see what else is down here. 1 second. Anthony and Judy leave.
oh,
Should we wait for...
Linda looks at Richard. He cannot stay with this.
If you don't mind, I should go.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Linda, I have to get back.
okay.
He searches for words.
I can walk back without you.
No, Richard.
If you want to. Okay.
I can come with you.
All right.
We walked over here together.
Linda wants to say something more.
It was. Please take good care of yourselves.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, take care.
Richard leaves. He doesn't walk far before turning back to wait for Linda. The women think to hug, but something keeps them apart for now.
Well, thank you. And you, Kendra.
It was my pleasure.
We'll stay here.
Yeah. We're always here. I mean, to stay in touch.
Good. It was nice to see you again.
Take good care of yourselves. Kendra smiles at the Perrys and escorts Linda out. Linda and Richard walk away with Kendra following behind. The Perrys are alone again. Judy calls out from the basement steps. You all want to just come down here and take a look with the flowers? Sorry. It just might be easier.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Jay heads down the stairs. Gail takes one last look outside before heading down herself. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church basement day. Judy heads back to the kitchen. Jay and Gail follow. I mean, it's not great, but maybe if we stuff it with newspaper.
Oh, anything's fine. Don't trouble yourself.
Here. Judy, stepping out of the kitchen with the box, notices the others are gone. Oh, I'm sorry. Did they leave?
Yes, they left, but thank you. They're ours, a gift. So
Oh, okay. Did Kendra leave?
she walked them out, but maybe she'll come back. Did you?
No. I just thought to say goodbye is all. I didn't even introduce myself to them, did I? Shoot.
That's okay. I am sure.
Oh, yeah, don't worry.
No, I should have. Shoot. I'm Judy. I know we met already, but
Hi, Judy. Thank you for having us, giving us the space. It's very.
it's healing here. It's just safe. It is. Wherever you come from. So how about this? We could stuff it with some newspaper or Anthony comes down the stairs from the church.
Judy,
Yeah?
Pardon me. They're bringing the rest of the books to St. Thomas, so they need the boxes.
Oh, okay. Well, this should work with some newspaper.
Oh, I think we're fine, really.
I would use bubble wrap.
Okay, well, you want to get this with bubble wrap?
I don't want you to bother.
I'll pack it. It's easy.
Anthony goes into the kitchen to find bubble wrap. Can't we just stuff it with the newspaper?
How much newspaper do you have?
You know what? I'm just going to hold on to them. I want to.
You sure?
I am. I think it will be nice.
She tucks the flowers into her chest confidently. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Well,
I guess it was nice meeting you all. Thank you for your...
Gail stops when she sees the looks on their faces. She turns to see Linda at the landing of the office stairs. Linda steps forward, unsure of herself. In the office, Richard peers down from behind the corner.
Linda,
Linda steps towards Gail.
I have a story I want to tell you.
Oh, I want to hear it.
16. He had such a bad week. I felt so badly for him, how cruel kids could be. But I couldn't just let him fall apart.
No.
We were alone. Richard was working late. I made him dinner, but he wouldn't eat. I asked him to talk, but he wouldn't talk. Finally, he went to his room. He was on the computer. I yelled at him, "You have to start working. If you can't be happy, at least you can do well." But he screamed at me, "I don't want to be happy. I don't want to do well." "Why?" I cried. "Why?" Then we were screaming at each other. We were both so hurt and scared. I know it. It happened so fast, but he said, "Get out before I hit you. Get out before I beat the shit out of you." I swear to God, he was terrified. I went to my room and I locked the door. Gail, I wish I'd let him. I wish I'd said, "Okay, hit me. You hit me, sweetheart. Hit me as long as you ever need." Then I would have known him. I would have known who he really was.
Gail doesn't know what to say at first.
It's okay. You can have me.
She hugs Linda deeply. Their words are private, maybe inaudible.
My story's a little different, isn't it?
No. We miss them.
I wanted to tell you a story too.
I'm sorry I didn't ask.
The women stay embraced. The rest watch. Finally, Gail and Linda disentangle. Linda looks at the others in the room, slightly embarrassed before walking back up the stairs. Richard and Kendra follow her out. No one speaks. Finally,
should we?
I just thought we'd
Right.
let them go.
Good idea.
they wait. In the church, a small choir begins to sing.
Is that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Singing?
Yeah, they rehearsed for tomorrow. I forgot.
No, it's nice. It's
Did we tell them?
I told you this morning they had rehearsal.
Did you? Sorry.
no, don't be. They're singing?
Yeah. I guess practicing for the choir for tomorrow.
It's nice.
It is, isn't it? Would you like to see? Judy gestures to the stairs and the church above them. Jay looks up.
Oh no, that's okay.
Jay can't find the words, overwhelmed. Gail still facing where Linda was, waits for the right time to leave. They listen, blessed be the tie that binds. Eventually, Gail turns to Jay. She gently takes his face into her hand and pulls him away from the music. She looks into his eyes. She smiles at him. She embraces him. The flowers caught between them, cut to black. Exterior Emmanuel Episcopal Church night. The church in evening quiet. Interior Emmanuel Episcopal Church Parish Hall night. The room filled with moonlight. Exterior secluded street night. The broken fence bordering the meadow. The tape blows in the wind. Continued, illuminated now, not noticeable before. The lights from a high school football field shine in the distance. Fade to black, lights fade last.
Well, that was definitely a
Ooh.
moving script, and yeah, moving performances by you guys and reading. Did we want to let that sit for a moment? Call it a break while we before getting into our after discussion?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll all sit on that for a moment and we'll be back to talk.
Right.
I hope all those who
You guys
made this
enjoy.
movie a possibility are proud of us. Because we love the work you put into making it a possibility.
Wow, I can't imagine how moving that movie is, and I can see why you guys would love it, because just your guys' reading and performance and the script, like I don't know, was super moving. I'm glad I was able to keep my camera off for most of that.
Hmm.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Your narration was awesome. It was great, Heather.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
I'm surprised
I
that's
don't
your
narrate in it. Peter, I don't narrate in this group very much.
Oh,
It's your first time narrating here for Table Read Tuesday.
No, I've done it before.
Oh, I thought you.
Times, yeah.
you done good.
All of you.
Thank you.
For those who have not seen this movie, I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
out on a DVD yet?
I don't know. I know that they had a much smaller budget for this movie. So I don't know where you can find it. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So that insight that Heather had in,
Oh, should I bring it up? Yeah, I'll bring it up.
I just,
no,
before you bring it up, I just want to say how brilliant it is, and then you can talk about it.
Well, because I was like on page 50, it mentioned that this Hayden kid had a special relationship with a teacher. And I'm like, well, I just wonder, was he abused by the teacher? Because after his relationship with the teacher, his behavior suddenly just. So I wonder, like, was he abused and then the teacher suddenly disappears? And there was a comment, he wouldn't even let us touch him. And the teacher being good to him can be interpreted in so many different ways. And you know, it's like maybe that's why Hayden wanted to do some shooting of the school, because he was angry about the teacher, this other teacher never getting caught. And these signs that everybody says are like antisocial and bipolar and whatever could be unresolved anger from being groomed and molested, and isolation and detachment are also symptoms that something may have happened.
Yeah, I never saw that when I watched the movie, but when you said it, I was like, holy smokes, yeah.
That comes
It
from
may-
studying evidence all semester.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Yeah, that's maybe a possibility, of course, and we don't know. But I think one point the movie was trying to bring out from the parents is that and from the script is that there wasn't that caused this in him, and there weren't those signs, and he didn't have like this trouble, and we don't have something like that to blame it on, or say
Well,
that
Jacob,
that's
it
why.
also says, Jacob, respectfully, he didn't talk about anything, so they didn't know because he didn't talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's everything you cannot see that left him helpless.
Yeah,
His own father said that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it did. The guy said from the other psychiatrist that, yeah, he wouldn't have said everything and wouldn't have been able to say everything. And that the parents said, like, he did it to us, and they hoped he would, maybe with his friends or something. So, yeah.
And when
Yeah.
people get to the point where they want to die, they usually end up cheerful because they're at peace, that they have a plan, if I remember correctly. Is that right? I'm not a mental health expert.
Did
but I
mention
think
that in it,
that's-
yeah.
They're peaceful
Like-
that they have a plan, and they're peaceful about, oh, I'm going to die now. I can be peaceful and happy because I know the end is coming, right? I think, am I not correct about that?
No, it mentioned that in there too, yeah.
I'd hate to sound so insensitive, but I remember reading about that.
What I loved about this script in particularly is that it takes it very respectfully and doesn't like try and make it sound pretty or like have any like special dialogue or anything like that. It sounds like a real conversation. And even in the points where they're just in the beginning talking about the tissue box, like it's like the small little things that you wouldn't think to write in a script, but that's what makes it real. It's like you feel that it's real when you're watching it because it's how we would talk in everyday life.
And not knowing what to say and just feeling like everything will come out wrong no matter what.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you want
to say or do. Like the woman at the start, she just wanted to do everything right and just so scared of doing it wrong. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it did seem like a lot of things weren't done right, but it still worked out okay for what
Yeah.
it was.
Well,
I mean,
honestly,
think
even
about the entire movie. They're sitting at that table. Like they're sitting in those chairs at that table and they rarely move. And so it's just cutting back from the different angles. And that's, visually, that's not how you usually see movies. But because what they're talking about is so captivating and the acting and the emotions are so captivating, you just can't help but like be glued to the screen. Because it's such an important topic, but it's also something we don't necessarily get to hear the side of the other son or the other kid. We don't really get to hear that story because so many things have been done about the other side, but rarely we've seen things from the other perspective. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And it really makes you feel for those parents.
Yeah.
And from a writing point of view, like they say, have subtext, not be on the nose, or people don't normally in life say what they want to say. And that's kind of the situation here. Like you're saying, Angelina, like people trying to say the right thing or not say it, and like they promise that they're going to go in there and not be vindictive or not be attacking. And so like the information unfolds over time, some from them not being able to talk about it, and then others from them like not knowing what to say or how to say it. Or
well, Jacob, you have all these plans of what you're going to do when someone does die. And then when they do die, you're so overwhelmed with emotion, the plans kind of take a dip. And it's like, it's a mad free for all when someone does die and you're left reeling from it.
I think it's a story of like two parents that just really love their kids.
yeah.
I mean, no matter what the kid did, they will always love him. And that's hard because like they hold that guilt of that he did this horrible, horrible thing and they still love him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his kid, their kids. So I think it's just really cool to get to see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I hate to say I gotta take off, but today was a privilege to be a part of this. I didn't think it would affect me the way it did. And I don't think, I definitely did not react the way I thought I would reading it. I thank you for bringing in an incredibly powerful thing to this, all of you. It was amazing to have shared that with you all.
Thank you, Peter.
And you too.
It was nice to have you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye. I liked the couple of points you brought up, Morgan. On stage, it can be very hard to be around a table. 12 Angry Men was like that. And you've got 12 people, plus I was the 13. I was the guard that popped in a couple of times. It's really difficult, and that's no less difficult when it's a movie. So that's an interesting aspect. Loving your child, no matter what they've done. Your child is your child forever. That love is forever. Even if you get angry enough that you don't talk to them for a couple of years or something like that, that love is still there. And with God's grace, you can come back again and be able to love them in front of them again. These people, they didn't have that chance. And the main, I didn't see this. So, I read the first 16 pages. I was really prepared. And I mean, words guide you, and the words guide the emotions. Your fellow actors help you get to where you need to be. And yes, bravo to all of you. This was a very good read.
Vicki, you're not going to be prepared for seeing this, no matter how many times you read the script. It's a different
I
environment.
was not lying when I said I could not see the screen in front of me. I was crying so much watching this movie, like towards the end. And I don't even think they
Like
mention
the
it in the
scene when he
script.
was standing in the stairwell. Sorry, when he's standing in the stairwell, just looking up towards the music and just weeping. It's like,
No, it's when they cut back at the end to the pictures on the wall of the kids' portraits. I lost it. They mention it in the beginning of the script, but I don't think they mention it again in the script, but it is in the movie. But several scenes, I mean, when Ann Downs' character is saying that, you know, they mourned 10 people, but, you know, they mourned 11. Like, it's just, you don't think that way, like, especially like with everything going on in the world, America especially, you don't think about the parents of that child. You don't think about what they're going through. And it was such an eye opener watching this, and just like so powerful. And the fact that they had those two opposing sides facing each other and then also connecting at the end was so powerful.
and that just makes me wonder, do we think to mourn like people who are influenced by evil to make bad decisions? Because they're people first and they suffer too when they make bad decisions. And we don't really do that because we think them automatically bad, but they just made a bad decision. They're not necessarily bad people. Does that make sense?
The question
It's
you're asking
definitely
is,
hard, and I think they do a good job at describing that in the script. It's hard, like, to forgive somebody that's done something like that. It's extremely hard. Like, how can you see such tragedy that somebody's done, especially to children, and forgive them? Like, your instinct is like, I hate that person.
But it's possible to forgive because the one who did that is suffering inside too. Something inside of them, like a suffering, caused them to act that way. So we have to remember that too. As horrible as that makes me sound for saying that, we have to remember that they're suffering too, and their hurt caused them to act out in pain. And this is me speaking because I was abused. My dad, who abused me, like he's dead now, but he was probably suffering from the fact that he had a disabled child, and that caused him to suffer and take it out on me. And that's how I'm speaking. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, coming to understand that how many years later, you know?
I think it's a big topic, and lots of people have different opinions and will always have different opinions.
Anyway, sorry, I'm babbling.
Yeah, well, anybody who's not a part of it, it's going to be probably hard to really understand. Like, I hear about someone who just forgave the murderer of their child, and you think, how do they do it? And I remember years ago, I was at a course and I met these one people who, and I will admit, I had a bad taste in my mouth about it. They were talking about how it was like a woe was me sort of thing, but I wasn't putting myself in their shoes to really think of how it was for them. They were talking about their son who was a drunk driver and killed some people. And they were talking about, but nobody thinks about us, about how much we've lost. And I thought, ooh, like, are you not putting yourself in those other people's shoes that lost their people? But I wasn't able to see, at the time. I can see it a bit more here, but also I felt like I think it'd be hard. Of course, it'd be painfully hard to know how to behave. Like the parents of the one who killed the people could have just as easily have blown up and said, we've lost people too. We've lost someone too, but they didn't. They were trying to come from a place that of healing and of understanding and putting their own feelings aside, which has got to be difficult. So I don't know.
Absolutely. And forgiveness is not only a healing thing for the person that you're saying, I forgive you, because it certainly gives them a place to start from and actually be able to go on with their lives. But it's also for the person doing the forgiving, because if you stay with hatred inside of you, it only eats you up. It actually hurts you physically. So really, as hard as it can be, it is crucial to find that grace within yourself to forgive.
Yeah.
That's why I loved her monologue in the end, where she is saying she has to forgive in order to continue on. Like, she can't keep living that way anymore.
Well, I mean, carrying hate for someone or something that caused harm can make you quite an ugly and angry person. And that's a person that nobody wants to be around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad thing, like to carry anger and to let hate rule your life makes you quite ugly. And it's a sad thing to say. And you can get mad at me if you want, but it makes you quite ugly. And nobody wants to be around someone who's ugly by choice. Because carrying anger makes you ugly by choice.
I think it's something that, is uncomprehendable. I mean, to lose your child in that way is uncomprehendable. And you would feel anger.
It would, but to have it consume you, to the point where you just live in it and don't do something to make your child's memory count and just do good in your child's memory.
And each can have their own reaction and grow and change and feel it and go through it at different times, and it can take different lengths. So, yeah.
Like, there's no point in adding to suffering.
We shouldn't say if somebody is still hurt and feeling the pain toward others that they are now an ugly person. And
you can literally do good with suffering, and that's what you should do.
If they can and they can get to that point, and able to, So.
And in my different experience than this, and really old now, but when I went through a bunch of stuff in an abusive situation, and years later when I would pray for him, and that helped me it helped me to get beyond forgiving and to pray for the good for him. And then I was able to let it go to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was able to let it go. Mostly I don't even think about it anymore. And I don't know.
Well, it may not lead to a cure for him, but it may help you understand why he is the way he is. And that's enough to have compassion for him and his soul, because it's not up to you. It's up to someone else. But at least it'll give you the feeling that you did your part to try and help him be a better person. And that's the piece that you can get that helps you to let go of anger,
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's how we can let go of
me. I don't know if it helped him, but it helped me.
That's how we can literally let go of anger. We can tell ourselves that we did enough.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Separately, I also loved the part in the script where they were talking about the gun issue and had said that they should do mental health checks. And that, like, if you're going to have a yearly physical, why are we not having mental checks as well? Because mental health is super important and it's so overlooked. And we're really sick of hearing the excuse in today's time, like, oh, they had a mental health issue, so they shot up a school. We shouldn't be allowing these things to happen, and we should check on our kids.
Yeah, but I think you're absolutely right. I think it makes sense to have a mental health check for the guns and stuff. But as happened like in this movie and stuff, like that wouldn't have helped this situation and some others where it's not their guns. They get the guns from elsewhere, find guns or access to the guns and stuff. But yes,
Do you
agree.
know how difficult it is for people to match with a therapist that works for them?
That what?
Someone who's been to like 5 therapists in her lifetime, yes, I've been to 5, I swear it. It's so hard to get a therapist that actually meshes with you and is willing to talk with you and get you to open up, because I'm a person who didn't used to open up at all, and I was angry and depressed and threw backpacks at ceilings and just was very angry and self-harmed with food and hair pulling and stuff like that. I'll admit it on camera. I don't care. But I was just very angry, and I was on medication for my disability, and home life was rough. But when I was a little older, I went to therapists, and I was able to actually acknowledge that, because I had a therapist that fit. And it's so hard for many people to find therapists that fit or are emotionally invested in actually helping people. But a lot of therapists are not emotionally invested in helping people get well. Some are detached, some are burned out. There's so much caregiver burnout in the caregiver system because they don't think they get paid enough. They're overwhelmed with the problems that are beguiling their patients. And there's just not enough funding that goes into the system. And some patients are just beleaguered with so many problems that they get mismatched with resources, and that's a big problem.
Thank you, Heather, for being vulnerable and saying that. And also thank you for bringing up the point that like, if somebody is looking for a therapist, like, yes, talk to someone, find someone. And if they're not right, then find someone else. And don't give up. Like Heather mentioned, it took her like 4 or 5 to find someone that worked for her. Like that, if you try someone and it doesn't work, and you try someone else and it doesn't work, like find, like, I don't know, if you can keep going to find someone that does work for you and that you.
Well, there's online therapy, there's in-person therapy. Like, don't be afraid to try several. Like, therapy shopping is not a bad thing. You should totally do it. And if you can't afford a therapist, read mental health books. Don't be afraid to do something for yourself.
Well, and there's the free resource to get started. Maybe they can direct you to elsewhere, at least in the States, the pound 9.
And there's apps.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's also mental health apps.
And
Yeah.
as someone mentioned, like, again, maybe talking to a professional is best, but talking to anyone is good. And I hear, again,
Yes.
even Chat GPT can be helpful for some because it is made to chat with, and then you could feel free to open up and
Yes.
talk and stuff.
You can use many routes. I myself used an alternate route. I have a shaman, and really to find someone
a shaman?
a shaman. I have a shaman.
There are shamans in Alberta?
Well, no, he lives in New York. But as long as you find somebody that holds space for you, that's a good way of putting it. In other words, someone who listens and gives you the opportunity. Right. A good friend is just as good as anything, really. So there are alternate routes. There is reading. There's, definitely you can find help. I myself have struggled with depression and traumas most of my life, and I'm at a really good place. And my shaman helped. Absolutely.
And as we're saying here, more people than you expect actually like suffer or look help or get help or have therapists or talk to people. They just don't talk about it. So it doesn't feel like many people are or have, but a lot of people are. So there's no reason to feel bad about it. No reason to feel bad about reaching out and talking to someone. It's quite normal, or it should be even more normal than it is. But
and I wanted to say the same about like in line with what you're saying, Heather, that don't give up. If you haven't found one that fits you, keep going. But I also felt like a hypocrite because I have not. I went to a few and I'm like, don't like it. But that doesn't mean I should stop. I
Yeah,
should
this
I'm
is-
maybe,
actually thinking of getting another one just because it's, it's never too late to go to another one,
Mm.
and there's never, ever any shame in going to one, ever.
No.
It's a good thing. So you find what works for you.
And if you have an addiction in connection with your mental health issue, there's Al-Anon, there's AA, there's Alateen, or if you have a relative that's got a mental health issue that they're self-medicating with, there's Al-Anon is for relatives and friends of alcoholics. It's a great resource. I recommend it highly.
I thought that was interesting that they said that the AA meetings, they clean up after themselves, but the Al-Anon, no. And Al-Anon are the people who it's their
Are
family
cleaning
members
up.
and their friends who have the addictions, but hey, they don't clean up.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought that was because I wonder, do you think that's because AA, they're starting to take accountability for themselves and what they're doing, and maybe the others, they're like, I'm done taking care of them, and
No,
Maybe.
because both programs have the 12 steps and they do similar programs.
interesting.
And they have the Serenity Prayer and everything like that.
I wonder if there's truth to that, like if it's more
Yeah.
common for AA members to clean up after themselves and Al-Anon not to. Not saying any one or the other, but I'm curious, just curious.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a survey.
That's the thing about being the writer. Like they could either have just one experience and they're like, I'm putting that in the script. I can't believe this is the way it is. Or they could have done research or any other, or thought it was funny.
I am
But don't-
curious as to how much research they did for this, or like what inspired them to do this project altogether. Because the whole thing seems so real. Like when you're watching it, you feel like you're watching these real people having this discussion. And so I feel like there has to have been, like they had to have talked to people or something to really understand, because it just feels so like this is how those people would have felt.
Yep.
And it was his first feature and first, I heard, he's an actor, the
Or is
writer
he
of,
a writer director?
yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone
it's
have more
just
insight on the
Spielberg.
writer director, the director?
No.
really.
No, what was it?
Yeah, that was
Fran
it, right.
Katz or something. I can't remember.
That's what the
I
kid-
looked it up today, but no, I
Yeah,
don't remember.
Kranz. I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Yeah.
I think it's Fran, but it's short for Francis or something, but now I'm,
Also, like the actors they picked for this movie are so they're known as like such underrated actors. Like they're not ones that you really see all of the time, but everybody knows that they're great. So I thought it was really cool, the casting choices, because they're all very respected actors, but not ones that you think like of like off the top of your head of like, who is your favorite actor? You wouldn't probably say their name, even though they're like one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that they got a juicy role, a chance to shine. It shows like how some, if given the opportunity, could rise to the occasion.
Personally, if we're talking the actors, well, there are certain things I've written that I would want Jason Isaacs to star in, like that script I mentioned last week about my father's, I guess I'll say it, my father's battle and dying days. I would want him to star in it because he most resembles my father.
what's his name again?
Jason Isaacs. He really does most resemble my father.
Okay, all right.
And I know it's a
Oh,
ridiculous
he was
thought.
in this one. He was in this one. Oh, okay, you mentioned him earlier.
It's
Yeah,
the most ridiculous one, but he's the one I'd want because it would just be perfect casting.
cool. Okay. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
He is quite the chameleon too on certain things. Like I've seen him in different things, and I like sometimes when he looks himself and is himself, like I see that, but then he has played other roles, and I don't tie the characters together. It's the same actor.
Yes. That's the really
I mean,
good
I
one.
mostly know Anne Down from Handmaid's Tale, where she plays a really mean person. And she's so sweet in this movie. Like you just feel for her. It's the total opposite of her character in Handmaid's Tale. And it's the first time I've seen her play something like this. And I was just blown away.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, awesome. With our size, it's like, I mean, yeah, heavy.
No, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts so I don't say something else awkward.
It's don't worry about being awkward. It was
And
a
it's not as
difficult
awkward as you think.
topic. Yeah, it's not.
Um,
It's a difficult topic, and it's like it takes a lot out of a person, I think. So
Well,
Well,
I'm
actually-
going to say goodnight. I
Yeah.
had a very early start today.
I think it's a good
Um,
time. I was gonna say for all of us to call it.
Oh.
But
I won't be seeing you next week, unfortunately.
right, yes.
Well, we
I'm
look
having
forward to when we can
surgery
see
next
you.
Tuesday.
Well, good
All
luck.
To do with my endometriosis.
Well, I hope it goes well. I'm sure it
Yeah.
will, and we can't wait to when you are able to join us again and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's-
time it is, but I definitely won't be making an appearance on camera.
Yeah, just take care of yourself
Yes.
for sure.
It's a day surgery, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh no. Yeah, just take care of yourself and relax and read a book or watch us.
Yeah, watch
You
us.
turn us on and
Anyway, don't be afraid to talk to one another. I mean, if you don't want to go to a therapist, talk to someone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't expect your friends or family to know how to perfectly react.
Yeah,
Like,
that too.
they'll probably want to do the best, but they're imperfect and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it, and they won't handle it perfect. So
And
Yeah,
don't be
that's-
afraid to
don't let that discourage you.
Yeah.
don't be afraid to forgive, because not forgiving will eventually wreck you both inside and out. It will
I-
destroy you. It will destroy you, because forgiveness is a freeing tool. It's a healing tool. And it's a path to happiness.
And I use the term holding space because when you have someone who holds space for you, they don't have a whole bunch of advice. They're just giving you the time and the space to express yourself and unload.
And that is great advice for if somebody does come to you. Sometimes just listen. You don't,
Yeah.
One, you might not have the right advice to give. And number two, lots of times they don't want advice. So
Yeah.
just to be there to just hear them out and try to not say something. I mean, it's something I need to work on more. But I think
Jacob, no. I
No, I
hear
do.
this coming. You're
I-
gonna stop it.
No,
No,
I'm
Jacob
like
Patrick,
I'm a
no.
problem solver. I'm a creative
No,
person.
you're
so
not.
as soon-
Jacob,
I'm
no.
not all.
No.
No,
But-
he's
So what I'm
No,
saying is, I know
no,
myself. I'm a
no.
I know my
Jacob, no.
good qualities. I know my faults, but and
Jacob, you're a very good listener because you listen to my crazy rambles all the time.
well, thank you. And sometimes I'll try and offer advice when I shouldn't as well. But thank you, Heather.
You're all very good listeners.
Yes, everyone here is great. All right, great people. Take care of yourselves. Try and be there
Oh,
for your loved ones.
Self-love
Do
is
we-
important.
Do
And
we
love
know
one
what
another.
next week is? What are we doing next week?
Well, as long as we don't throw it on the fly like we did this week, because this week
Yeah.
was going to be Ted Lasso, which is very different than today's.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, this was a very just for anyone who, if you are watching this, very last minute, like hours before. We changed the whole script on everyone.
And look how amazing everyone did. I mean, tears to our eyes. Like, I don't know. Yes, some credit goes to the script, but yeah, but they brought it. Next week is The Wire, episode 5, season 5, episode 10. That's another one, like how, if anybody hasn't heard of it, but you know Breaking Bad, the buzz about The Wire was as big as the buzz about Breaking Bad when it came out. Everyone's like, what is this show? I've never seen a show like this before. And yeah.
Boy.
So
then Pushing Daisies with that.
I think
One of my-
Angie might be excited about that one. Just,
I really like Pushing Daisies. I really
that
wish
was a
that
fun show. I loved it.
yeah, it was so good. Do we have a replacement for Everything Everywhere All at Once? We do, don't we? Oh,
Yeah,
put
we
a
already
different
did.
one.
We put Batman.
Batman?
Oh,
That's right. Yes. Oh, okay, that's so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Just fixing-
Where are you looking? You're looking on the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And it's
on the Facebook group is where we have the list for the year, and that one's updated. That says the version of Batman there. It's applicable to today with the writer strike because it's a version that the writer was writing for the Batman movie that eventually turned into the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, but he had to stop writing because of the writer strike. And then they kept going. So this is kind of like his version of the script before all the changes and things that have happened. And on that, we're also gonna have a guy that has a superhero podcast and talks about superhero movies and Batman and all this stuff. So he has a lot of insights on that and other things.
You know what's
So-
also really cool? That was not planned, but it's also very applicable to the writer's strike is Pushing Daisies was not
Mhm.
continued because of the writer's strike. One of my favorites that didn't get to continue on because of that, because of the last one. And what we are losing by not paying our writers enough, if we would pay them enough, not me, you know, we,
Oh,
if
yeah,
we-
you.
Yeah,
the
well,
royal
it's-
we.
Yeah, it's just them being greedy, trying to change the industry and trying to just suck more and get more of it and not just spread the wealth to the creators and everybody that brings it. It can be a win-win. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
zero-sum game.
Sure would have won if they finished Pushing Daisies. But could they continue it without the writers?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do? Pay the writers. We. Yeah.
And
Anyway,
the
sorry.
actors.
Yes,
And the
everyone
actors, yes.
try and be as fair with everyone as possible.
Mhm.
You know what? Speaking of things to do for actors, if anybody wants vocal workouts, like they're free, but they're fun, let me know. I know of a good place where you can get some not here, but privately.
What is it?
Okay.
For
Vocal workouts.
All right.
Oh.
Well, Vicki was trying to leave and we said we're
Yes,
gonna
sorry.
leave. So I don't want to just keep us going as much as I love you guys and love talking to you and spending time with you. We'll
Yes,
see
I love
next
you all.
week.
We'll have a meetup on Huntington Beach one day.
Yes.
but that sounds
All
nice.
right.
I like Everything Beach.
Huntington
All right.
Beach is fun, but I almost drowned there, but I want to go back
All
anyway.
right. Well, be safe, everyone. See you soon.